giving the speech, Madison wanted to drop out of high school and get a GED instead.
True story.
But she's here, so here we go.
Most of you, except for the freshmen, know her as that girl who showed up to prom looking like a model. And no one recognized her. But there is so much more to Madison than how gorgeous she is.
She has seen everything Transformer related, including all of the original Japanese cartoons, multiple times. She even has the action figures. For a solid 6 months, she carried around one in her pocket and played with it whenever she got bored.
She also goes home and spends a solid 8 hours a night playing video games. And we participate.
Madison also has some really weird eating habits.
If you are what you eat, chocolate is Madison.
We are 100% positive that she will get scurvy one day. Or as Miss Harrison once said, her liver will just fall out.
Madison is casually cousin It. She frequently hides in her hair. People aren't allowed to touch it.
One time, when Amanda and I jokingly mentioned cutting it, she threatened to stab us with scissors. And at that moment, we realized that she was actually a serial killer.
But we're still friends with her.
Well, our darling little rocket, it's time to blast off to the moon. Hope you have a good time with anti-gravity. We'll see you when you come back to Earth.
But really, good luck on your speech. The puppeteers and your parents love you and will miss you next year.
Before I begin, I'd like to say I've tried very hard to change when I'd actually have to do this speech. Yet despite my efforts, it seems that I'm not alone in thinking that it would just be easier to wait till next year. And it was about this weekend that I realized I really had to do this. So for a long, long time, people have been asking me why I'm so quiet, or telling me I should be louder. Someone has even said to me, "What's your problem? Why don't you just say something?" But being loud is simply not me. I'm not the type of person to tell everyone about myself or how I feel. So you can imagine how being up here, having to share something personal, isn't easy for me. Yet I've decided to try and open up because I'm tired of being afraid. Being quiet has allowed me to become a good listener. I've often spent many hours having people tell me how they feel. People trust me to listen and be understanding and try my best to help. They also trust me to keep some things in confidence because, as you can imagine, I understand you don't want to share some things with everyone. I've also learned that there are many different versions of the same story. I'd like to think that I'm an open-minded person because of this. I do my best to look at all the different variables of a situation and not make unfair or biased assumptions from just what one person says. I try to be nice to everyone because I know what mean people are like. I'd never want to make someone feel bad because I know how hurtful people can be. There are also many misconceptions about people that are quiet. Lots of acquaintances have also said things to me like, "I bet you never get mad." This assumption is one of many that go with people that are quiet. I do, in fact, get mad. I'm actually pretty stubborn as well. It seems like a majority of people think that because I'm quiet, I like quiet and fragile things. Yet I'm the kind of person who loves action movies, like Transformers, and loves sports cars so much I put together models of them. There's also the assumption that you have to be loud to achieve great things, but I know for a fact that this is just wrong. No one in this school ever thought I would fly planes, yet I do. Being loud wouldn't change any of that. The truth is, when people assume too much. Whenever I meet someone new, they seem to assume that I date lots of people. when I've never dated anyone in my life. This is an example of being judged by how you look, which I don't think anyone has a right to do. My family has a lot to do with who I am. While my parents and older sister were fighting, I was often by myself. But after a fight, I got to listen to each person rant. So I did what I'm good at. I listened. But it never seemed alright to express my own thoughts. I'm sure they didn't mean to ignore me. At least my parents didn't. Yet my older sister, like many others, assumed I didn't mind being pushed around or told what to do because I'm quiet. So after years of just listening to others, I transferred this habit to school. It didn't matter when I was in elementary. There were too many other troublemakers for teachers to deal with. Yet when I got to middle school, and the only thing that teachers could complain about was that I didn't talk enough, it became an issue. So suddenly what I was expected to do wasn't the right thing to do anymore. During parent-teacher conferences, I was always told I needed to be louder in class.